Slide transitions are simply the movement from one slide to the next. Now your transition may be nothing. It may just be appear, 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 appear. Or you may have some sort of movement from one slide to the next. Let me show you some examples of some movements on slideshows, and then you can decide what would be appropriate for the presentations that you're working on. I'm just going to move through this presentation quickly to show you the different transitions that have been applied. Some of them are very subtle transitions and are very short, and some are quite long and take a bit of time to continue and complete. Some of them are a little more action oriented, and others are just barely there. Now you can also turn off the transition so that there's no transition between the slides. And if you hit your backspace key or in any way go backwards, the slide just replays itself backwards. So as you're looking at these different transitions, I think probably what you're starting to discover, some of them would not be appropriate for every presentation, while others would be. This one, not going to be appropriate for every presentation. Let me hit backspace and replay it. See how long it is? Quite long to get through that particular slide transition. Well, in the real playmate, if you're really using your presentation, you're really presenting to your audience, and I know something like that's coming up and I'm running out of time and I want to go boom, boom, boom through the slides, then just keep going. So when I hit enter to move forward, I'm just going to immediately hit it again. And you see how it stopped the transition and took me directly to the slide? That's an option for you. I love this one played back. I just think that's fun to play that one back. So as we move forward then, this is the last transition in my slideshow, and it's another one of my favorites. It's the curtain. So here's what I've done in the past for presentations. I simply have a 2-slide slideshow, and I open the curtain, and then when I'm finished, I hit my backspace and I close the curtain. Of course, the original slide then is usually a plain blank slide, but I just think that one's quite fun. All right, hitting escape. How did I turn these on? How did I attach these to the slides? Well, one of the things that you can do is you click on the slide and then you go into the ribbon and you click on the transition tab to activate the ribbon. The first button is preview, so you can actually preview. I'm in slide sorter view here, but it allows me to preview in slide sorter view or in normal view. And then we have the different transitions. Now you'll have one row in your gallery always visible, but if you drop down your gallery, there are multiple choices in the gallery for the various transitions that are available, and they're categorized. You have your subtle transitions, your exciting transitions, and your dynamic content transitions. Again, your audience is who you're creating this presentation for, so don't annoy them with so many flips and flies and twirls and turns that they're getting dizzy. Use transitions when they're appropriate and how they might be appropriate on the slide. And sometimes a very easy to use transition is something like fade. It just shows up and disappears. Now you could also do this. There's the random transition. You could attach the random transition to any slide, or you could attach the random transition to all slides. Here's how you would do that. Just go to slide sorter view and choose Control A. Now every slide is selected. Drop down your gallery and simply say random. Now what I've done is I've attached a random transition to every slide in my presentation. And can you see the very top row? It's applying them and showing me all of these transitions. Whenever you choose random, you get whatever it is that you get. You don't have a lot of choice associated with this. So we'll just go into the random, let it finish up. It's finishing and it's thinking and it's applying. What happens is that it takes a minute to build these transitions. So don't get too impatient if your transitions aren't building fast enough for you. Once it's built, it usually stays pretty good and lengthy on the screen, or excuse me, not so lengthy on the screen, but see, that took just a few minutes to actually build each one of those. Now I'm not going to go through the entire presentation, but let's get started. I just want to hit F5 and let's see what we have here for transitions from one slide to the next. See, they're just random. It's whatever the computer chose at the time that it was applying those transitions. Now let me hit escape and let's do that again. Let's start over at the beginning and see if it applies the exact same transitions. Is it the exact same? Okay, there's the slide. See, they're not quite as crazy as what I applied to it, but there's no right or wrong. It's just what is it that you want, what would work for you. Now, when you click and apply a transition, I'm just going to go to the first slide here and choose the doors transition. What happens is it applies the default, but at the end of this this group of transitions here, you have effect options, and there might be choices. So I could have a vertical door transition or horizontal door transition. Let's go to the second one, and let's attach the comb transition to this. Oh, excuse me, I was still on the first slide. Well, since I was there, let's go ahead and leave it there. And then the effects is which direction would you like for the combs to do their thing? Let's go to the third slide this time. Let's choose Ferris wheel. Select Ferris wheel for this one. And what are my options? I can do it from the right or from the left. I get a choice. Now, if I go down to curtain, for example, and I choose the curtain, where is it? There it is. If I choose the curtains transition, the one I like so much, I think it is so fun, it doesn't have any effect options. So not every transition has an effect option, but if it does have an effect option, obviously you can attach it to your presentation's transition. So now, what are you going to do? You're going to go explore those transitions. Take 5 minutes one day and just look at each one of them. Then you'll have them in your brain and you'll be saying, oh, I know what I need on this presentation. And then use them where they're appropriate. But as you saw in my example, and I did it on purpose, there were some that were just really not as appropriate. And I don't know when that origami bird is going to be the best transition, but definitely not for every presentation. And the fracture, definitely not for every presentation. But there will be times when the transitions that are here are going to be just perfect for making the impact that you're hoping for in your presentation. So keep your audience in mind, because you want to impress them, not annoy them with your transitions. Here's another pop quiz question. When applying slide transitions, how many may be applied to each slide? A, 1, B, 2, C, 54, D, unlimited. The proper answer here is A. Each slide can have one and only one transition.
We hope you enjoyed this preview video. Please click on the like button below if you did, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to visit us at www.kalliance.com to sign up for your free 7-day trial today. You could learn a lot in a week.